that concerns me. I believe that we need to check that situation out and see what can be done. Now, one of the cons that I hear is that the city of College Station uses this as a method of raising money. They raise $12 million a year, which is about 10% of your utility bill, which I call a hidden tax. So it won't be the easiest thing in the world. I'm hoping that my hopefully future council member and friend whom I helped get elected, Jess Fields, and I will be able to stand for those issues in a more conservative way of limited government and listening to the people and reflecting the values of the people that live in this community. It has been said that because I'm the newbie, I'm less experienced. Well, if you've liked what's happened in the city of College Station in the past, then I guess that would work, that you would not be satisfied with that explanation. But I am the real deal, the fresh face that has not been encumbered by city government of the past, that's ready for new questioning ideas, that says, we do this way, but why do we do it? We need to look at things in a very common sense, core services-based way, where we take care of our needs of our citizens first, and then we look at the unique interests that we'd like to have. It's all just like being in your own pocketbook. If you have your budget written out and you would like to have something special, you prepare for the future to get it, and if the economy goes down or you lose your job if you're a working student, you make adjustments, and it is necessary in the economy that we live in with the debt factor that the U.S. government now is shouldering of $14 trillion and growing, that we prepare as a city and as a state for a future that is less certain than we've seen in the past. It is my belief that the fact that cities like Phoenix and Chicago and LA are now letting go their employees on their government level, they're reducing their services to their citizens, and they're in financial distress. And I say it is time to evaluate, to look at what's most important that we need to do, and stick with those goals, and then as the economy improves, as the tax revenues of the city grow, then we can have more of the luxury items that we would like to have. I appreciate your time. I hope that I've covered some issues that might be relevant to you. I was going to talk about Northgate. I would be interested in, over time, if you would like to contact me, I will give you personal contact information, hearing about your thoughts about Northgate. It's interesting that there will be this new storm situation. I think that sounds like a topic everybody would like to hear about. And Southgate parking, I know that again is one of the issues that affects students. I believe that students have every right to be anywhere they want to live, and just because I believe in personal choice, and I think it's our job as a city to embrace that, and not try to eliminate or restrict or put students in a certain part of town away from the rest of the people that we live around. We all need to learn to show good citizenry and show self-governance for ourselves as people, and we need to be kind to our neighbors, but I'm glad you're here, and I appreciate what you offer to our city.
With that, we will now move into question and answer. If there are no objections, we will make question and answer 10 minutes to reflect the time from the other candidate. So with that, Senator Blaine.
Justin Pulliam Coles, our vote today is going to be asking the same questions we asked in the previous debater. Anyways, is it the job of the city government or the free market to plan future commercial growth in the city?
I believe it's absolutely a free market system. And when the free market works, we increase jobs, we increase revenues for the city. when the free market works, we increase development. The development should be less encumbered. College Station has a reputation of making it really hard for small businesses to start up, or even bigger businesses with restrictions such as paint color, sign height, and some of those are justified, but many of them way go over into the area of free choice. Our country was founded on the principles of personal rights, limited government, and property rights. And property rights are the basis of all capitalism and all free society. When the government starts trying to run the private sector with over ordinances, then the private sector ceases to function in the proper way, because government regulations reduce the freedom of the business owner.
Thank you.
Chair Caperton?
Caperton, External Affairs. Briefly, you talked about increasing communication between students and the council. Obviously, with a number of issues like parking in the historic district in Northgate, property inspections, and increases to utilities, students feel like we should be kind of welcome to have a seat at the table and help participate in those discussions and really provide input from students. And so, do you have any specific ideas on how we can better that communication between representative groups like SGA and the council?
Well, I'm not totally sure what the possibilities are between, like, for instance, a CEMA that speaks or representative or like. But for me personally, I would welcome the opportunity to speak with citizens and speak with students, because you are paying rent, you provide exponential amounts of tax revenue, and you have the right to say what you think is true. I think that the city is better well served, and the community is better well served if we can hear from responsible students that are interested in improving the situation of the city.
Thank you.
With that, Senator Grosvenor?
Howdy, Greg Grosvenor, off campus. With all the discussions of your affiliations and just some of the values you talk about, some of these catch-all phrases, do you really think that partisan politics play an actual role in city government?
I think that everybody that's involved in any government situation has a moral barrier, an ideology that they work from. My ideology personally is that, we were a country founded on a constitution, we are a republic, and that those things should go from the bottom up and from the top down. I can't imagine, separating totally the philosophies, because I think people that say that they're not politically motivated to some degree probably are not being honest with themselves.
Senator Lane?
Hi, Evan Lang, off campus. It's recently on a national debate, more like here too. The rent is too damn high. What would you do with, I guess, property taxes and especially the electricity, which is part of our rent? What do you propose doing?
Well, that is something that, you have to have hard numbers and actual time spent with the city fiscal departments, and in order to decide and determine what the contracts are, that sort of thing. So it might be a slow process, but, I think that the city governments tend to use the municipal methods of providing utilities so that they can actually make money off of the utilities. If it's deregulated, then people have choices and they can't bring any money in. that exists in the city of College Station, $12 million a year going into the general fund out of the electric bill. The property taxes in College Station are lower than many of them are, but and as far as the rent is a competitive factor. The people from the real estate association, the rental property association, tell me that, that as far as those fees and things that are, are concerned, that, that the market is competitive. There's an overbuilt situation in College Station with rental property, so that they feel that they have to maintain their own personal standards of quality in order to keep their properties rented, which is, I think, the way that it should be. And the rental inspections, are difficult because all I can see is what are they going to do with 20,000 students trying to get in their apartments or houses when they come to town in August, and they don't have a staff or an ordinance committee that can enforce anything. So why make the rule to begin with if you can't enforce it? But and I think the accountability factor on the rental fees that they're charging those property management companies and owners is not correct in the fact that those should be listed in the the listings in the electricity department at the fiscal plant. Your name, the owner of the property is listed, the person renting the property is listed, it should be accessible to 911, so there's no real reason to charge that extra $15 per unit, in my opinion.
Thank you.
With that, Senator Riley?
Hi, Jake Riley, off campus. Quick question. I was reading your platform here, and it said that one of your solutions to a challenge was to help cut waste. What are some areas of waste that you see the College Station City Council currently partaking in, and how do you plan to address those?
Well, they're as simple as things like the city employs some of them that work in the offices, and the city council are provided with clothing. And, it sounds like a silly thing, but we don't necessarily have to dress ourselves in the city of College Station at the city's expense. And those kind of things seem insignificant, but they all add up. There's also possibly some jobs that, as they become vacant, don't need to be refilled because of the fact that we have, less money coming in and the tax dollars are lower. That's not to say anyone should be laid off, but because we need the workers that we have, but if there's jobs that we can reduce as they become vacant and not fill those jobs, that would be good. I mean, that's even a possibility for the city attorney that recently left, that maybe that we can not add another job there and hire somebody that's already in his department working in the town. So that's like $150,000 salary not having to be added in.
Thank you.
With 30 seconds, Senator Womack.
Hey, come to see us, Mark Womack, off campus. Real quickly, what is and you might have already touched on this, but what is the most pressing issue you see College Station facing, and what steps would you take to rectify that?
Well, the first order of business that we have is we have to hire a new city manager. My goal with a new city manager would be someone who has had experience in the private sector with payroll, as well as experience and education in city management. The reason I say that is because one of the problems in the academic world or in the government jobs world is that it is said that, yes, I've made a payroll and I've managed a budget, which is true, but as a small business owner myself, My husband and I have to go to bed every night thinking, are we gonna make payroll? Because there are people that could lose their jobs and not be able to feed their families because of the behavior that we exhibit. And when it's your money and it's coming directly out of your pocket, it's a whole different ballgame than spending somebody else's money.
With that, question and answer has now expired. Thank you. Our next speaker, Francisco Maldonado, wasn't able to be here, so we will briefly deviate from the agenda and move to exec confirmation.
Howdy. Howdy. Sorry, this won't take too long, hopefully. Just to get introduced again, Patrick Ragland for you for our council position. Patrick's been working with us now for 2 weeks on and off, obviously not been confirmed yet, but just kind of giving him some ideas and some things to kind of work with. And he has done a fantastic job, and I know will continue to do a fantastic job, so I strongly encourage you to support him for this confirmation so that he can help out Exec Council and Senate and make sure that we're all on the same page. You want to say?
Yeah, and I hate to take up any more of your time than I have to, but I would like to address a couple of basic concerns about what my position is and what you can expect from me. The first thing is that I'm here to really involve Exec as much as possible in a communication and a process with SGA. We've heard tonight a lot about traditions at Texas A&M, and what makes us a university that's different from anything else, the strength and vibrancy of our traditions and our student life. But there are a couple traditions I would like to see changed, ameliorated, just entirely taken away. And that is the way the SGA operates in a large respect. The way we work between Exec and Senate, the way that things are presented. Really, I think the best thing as a student government is to realize that we don't have the force of law behind what we do. City Council here tonight, they have the force of law when they pass an ordinance. We don't have the force of law when we pass a bill. We have to bring student opinion before administrators who do have the ability to make actual final decisions on most issues affecting us. But we have to convince them that it's a persuasive expression of student opinion. And the best way we can do that is by being unified, by having a strong purpose and a strong vision between all the different parts of SGA. And that doesn't come about in any other way except for working together in a process and understanding each other. And that's why I'm here today. That's what I'm going to be, hopefully, doing in this job. And that's what I've been doing unofficially for some time, is helping people on both sides, in Senate and in Exec, see how we can work together and really see how we can change this instead of just being from 1 year to the next. Administrators stay, but we change. It's to develop protocols from 1 year to the next. There's a lot of missions that can be accomplished, and I would really like to say that that's what I'm here to do. And so I'd like to hear any kind of questions that y'all have regarding this position.
With that, we'll now move into question and answer. Chair Fitz.
Chair Fitz Lawrence, you talk about the relationship between Senate and Exec. Like, what experience are you drawing from to make a conclusion about that? How do you know what the relationship is?
The way that the relationship has been, say, for as long as we can reasonably have been here, like because I'm not a member of student government, is that what you're asking? Like,
Yeah,
how
I just
do I
want to
know
know, like,
the
what experience you have, like, how do you know what that relationship is like?
Okay, I'd say it's interpersonal relations is how I got that. I live with Scott Bowman. I went to high school with him. I went to high school with Chris Russo. I've known Oliver Toma for 2 years. He was my big brother in Century Singers, so to speak. And through him, I met Conrad last year. And I've listened to them talk about student government and taking their perspective from both sides for a very, very long time. You can imagine how much all of them would like to talk about what's going on. And I think that really allows me a better understanding of, because I'm away from the group. I'm apart from it. I had both perspectives very strongly coming forward. And that's allowed me to develop a unique perspective of things going on within this, because I didn't come from one area or the other. But I did have to choose one or the other to come through and try to work once I saw that I felt like I could do something. Does that answer your question?
All right, yes.
Senator Scoggins?
Senator Scoggins off campus. Well, I think it'd be much more interesting to ask you about Scott Boger's living habits. I'd like to ask some specific examples of things that you think would fall under your purview this year.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the last part of your question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'd like you to detail, or would you mind detailing some specific activities that you think would fall under your purview this year?
Okay, some specific activities will be going through legislation, the way that it affects exec, the way that our, in the job description is defined as the all internal and external legal ramifications to exec from actions coming from Senate. Basically, when y'all are going through the process of creating a bill, and I'm here to try and involve us at an earlier step in the process of the bill, so that when it comes through, it's not exec and Senate with totally disparate views of the way it's going on. But basically understanding, when y'all pass something, what does it actually mean to us? What do we actually have to do to enact the bill? Because that's what we do. We have to enact exactly the legislation of the bill. So most everything involved with legislation of the bill, that's what I'm going to be doing towards. Pretty much, the position is designed to be open enough that almost anything that's an intergovernmental issue, whether it be legislation or a people issue, particularly my relations with some of the individuals involved in student government, that's going to fall directly under my purview of my area of expertise.
Brief follow-up.
Keep it brief.
Do you see most of your, experience falling between when a bill is new business and old business?
I wouldn't want to make that particular distinction of when it's going to be within the process. It's going to be all through the process. And obviously for some bills it's going to be at the end because we don't need to be involved as much. In some bills it's going to have to be from the beginning, going through even developing research and to support developing reports that go along with the legislation that y'all are coming to present. Once we finish the bill, a language in the bill describing what the bill actually is saying, and then research and reports underlying alternatives that can be presented at the same time. So it's really going to depend upon what stage the bill is at, but it's not going to be a specific time period.
Thank you.
Senator Womack?
Howdy, Mark Womack, off campus. The SGA Constitution on this says, organizing and supporting the student body president shall organize and appointing members of the cabinet which will serve at the discretion of the student body president with the approval of 2/3 parentheses 2/3, close parentheses, of the student senate president voting. So my question to you is the question I ask everybody that goes up for confirmation. Do you find yourself basically competent at filling this role?
Yes.
Got my vote.
Any further questions? Seeing none, we will now move into debate for this confirmation.
Diego.
Those wishing to debate for? Senator Womack?
He said he could do it, so I trust him. Let's do it.
Any wishing to debate against? See none, chair needs to debate one-sided. We will now take a vote on this bill, or on this confirmation. All those wishing to confirm Patrick Reichert as the general counsel for the exec branch, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes do have it.
Madam Speaker,
Senator Harrison.
I'm in for a 5-minute recess.
Multiple seconds. All in favor of a 5-minute recess, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
In the chair, I already called it. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes do have it, but we will quickly confirm the new general counsel first.
I state your name. I, Patrick Reichert. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear.
To faithfully execute to the best of my ability.
To faithfully execute to the best of my ability.
The office of General Counsel.
The office of General Counsel.
For the Texas A&M University Student Government Association.
For the Texas A&M University Student Government Association.
And to at all times protect the welfare of the student body.
And to all times perfect the welfare of the student body.
And to promote good relations between the students.
And
Promote good relations.
promote good relations between the students
And those concerned with the university.
and those concerned with the university.
Congratulations.